Welcome to the Connected Spirit Podcast, a space where the mystical and the human experience merge, where we explore what it really means to walk a spirit-led path. I'm Courtney Dawson, an ethical medium and mentor, and for as long as I can remember, I have felt the presence of the spirit world. But my journey hasn't been simple. It's been one of self-discovery, healing from religious and emotional trauma, navigating fear, judgment, and the loneliness that comes with embracing something the world doesn't always understand. This podcast is here to take what was once considered woo and bring it into the real lived experience of being human. Because mediumship isn't just something we do, it's who we are. Here we dive into the conversations no one else is having, breaking down misconceptions, exploring the unseen, and normalizing the journey of deep connection. We'll talk about the beauty and the struggle of being a medium. We'll laugh, we'll reflect, we'll go deep. And most importantly, we'll remember who we are, why we're here, and how spirit moves through us all. So if you've ever felt something more, if you've ever questioned the unseen, or if you're simply ready to embrace the fullness of your spiritual path, you're in the right place. Hey friend, welcome back to the Connected Spirit Podcast. You know, there's something about the holiday season that makes the world feel a little more alive, like the lights, the music, even the chill in the air. They all carry more meaning. And maybe you've noticed it too. Small coincidences that feel more like chance. A candle that flickers right when you were thinking of somebody who is no longer here in the physical world. You've got an ornament that keeps catching your eye, and then you wonder, is that even spirit? And if you've questioned that, this episode is for you. Today, we're exploring how the world of spirit uses symbols, especially during the holidays, to remind us that love never ends. By the end, you are going to understand how to interpret those moments so they feel less random and more like a language you can trust. A few Christmases ago, one of my clients, let's call her Melissa, booked a session with me in early December, and it was her first holiday without her grandma. She told me every year my gran would hang this little crystal ornament in the front window so the light would scatter across the room. It was her thing. This year I hung it myself and the crystal it wouldn't catch the light. It stayed dull. I know that sounds silly, but it made me sad. So her and I talked for a while, and at the end of her reading, her grandma's energy came through. She was soft, she was loving, but she was insistent. And I said, she keeps showing me this flash of light, like something sparkling near a window. Did you move something? And then Melissa gasped. She's like, the crystal. She said later that night, the ornament finally caught the light. And when it did, the sun filled her living room with hundreds of little rainbows. She sat there crying and laughing all at once. Here's the part that's interesting. She said it happened the moment she stopped trying to make it sparkle. She'd been moving it every day, adjusting it to different places in the living room. She was checking on it. That afternoon, she gave up and said out loud, she's like, okay, Gran, if you're around, you make it shine. I'm done. And then just left it. And what happened is her grandma did her thing. It finally shone. Now, whether that was a perfect coincidence or divine timing really depends on your perspective. But what matters is how she felt, that warmth, the peace, the sense that she wasn't alone. That's spirit's language, emotion first, logic later. Stories like that always remind me why symbolism matters so much at this time of year, because even though the decorations and the rituals, they can look really ordinary, spirit uses them as vocabulary. Every sign, every repetition, every little nudge is spirit saying, I know this is going to mean something to you. But if we don't understand how to read that language, we can miss it. Or worse, we can doubt it. So let's unpack how it actually works. And I teach a process called the symbol language framework. And it's a simple way to recognize and interpret messages from spirit that are woven into the world all around you. Now, during the holidays, very normal for emotions to be running high. A lot of people feel stress, stress from finances, stress because different family dynamics are maybe not peaceful. Then we've got grief, there's joy, nostalgia, and then all of those are just kind of mixed together. And then that mix can make it really hard to know what's real. Maybe you've even found yourself asking, am I just imagining these things? Did that candle flicker because of spirit or because the heater kicked on, right? That analytical part of our brain, it jumps in really quick. We want the proof, but spirit speaks through pattern and feeling, not through physical logic. That's where so many people get stuck. Then they try to interpret a love language that isn't verbal. The moment you change from proving to experiencing, everything just softens. Spirit communication is like listening for music in another room. You don't force your ears, you just start to quiet the noise. So when you start approaching symbols with curiosity instead of control, the conversation becomes clear and it makes it so much easier for you to hear, right? You begin to notice when something feels like energetically charged, when a moment seems to hum maybe a little bit louder than normal. So let me walk you through these three principles that you can start using today. So, number one, personal resonance. Spirit doesn't use a one size fits all dictionary. Sorry, they don't. You can buy a symbol library book and it's not going to help you because how spirit wants to communicate with you is unique. Okay. So the spirit world, they choose images and moments that already mean something to you. That's why one person's cardinal means granddad, and then another's means like new beginnings. So ask yourself when you think you're getting a sign, what does this symbol remind me of? If the first thought that comes in is my mom loved that song or dad always fixed the lights. You need to trust that because that first impression is usually the right one and it bypasses your logical brain. Now, here's something you can do. The next time a sign appears, I want you to jot down three quick words: what you saw, what you felt, and what came to mind. That little note becomes evidence that you can revisit later, especially when doubt sneaks in. And for goodness sake, sometimes it does. So we just need to kind of nip it in the bud. Now, step number two, repetition and timing. Spirit loves patterns. They will send the same image, word, or song multiple times just to validate it's actually them. Now, if you see the same symbol three times in a short period, pay attention. Timing also matters too. Spirit often will coordinate signs with emotional peaks. You might notice them more when your heart is really open. Like after you've shared a memory, maybe you lit a candle, you were just having a conversation about them. So, for example, when Melissa finally said, okay, Gran, you make it shine, she opened that emotional doorway. That's when the light caught the crystal. It wasn't about physics, it was about permission. Step three, interpretation through feeling. This is where most people overthink. We want to decode a sentence when spirit is writing poetry. Instead of asking, what does this mean? Try this. Ask, how does this make me feel? Now, if the answer is comfort, peace, warmth, joy, or even just release, that's your confirmation. Feeling is spirit signature. Here's a simple way that you can practice that. When you notice a symbol, whether that's a flicker, a song, a scent, place your hand over your heart and rate the feeling from 1 to 10. If it's a 5 or above on the scale of calm, joy, or warmth, it's likely spirit. If it brings tension or confusion, it's probably your mind trying to control the whole experience. Over time, you'll build your own internal calibration. You'll start to know the difference between random and resonant. These three principles, personal resonance, repetition and timing, and interpretation through feeling, form the symbol language framework. When you live by it, signs stop feeling like coincidences and things that you want to just be able to quickly discard. You're going to start feeling like it is an actual conversation. You begin to move through the holidays with this real soft and quiet awareness that the world around you is alive with meaning. Now, I want to be clear, symbols are not tests. They're invitations. Spirit isn't asking you to pass or fail. They're just saying, hey, can you notice this, please? Sometimes you'll get it right. Sometimes you'll doubt yourself. And that's totally okay. Don't judge it. Connection with our departed loved ones in the spirit world isn't about perfection, it's about relationship. So, as you move through this season, stringing the lights, decorating the tree, going gift shopping, wrapping the gifts, lighting candles, cooking your favorite holiday foods, attending the Christmas parties, stay curious. When something catches your attention, just pause for a few seconds and ask yourself, why this right now? You might not get an answer in words. You might just feel a little warmth or hear a memory echo through your mind. That's communication. That's love translated through light. And in a moment, we're going to do a short guided experience together, 3 minutes to help you invite a personal holiday symbol from your loved ones in spirit. But before we drop into that, take a breath and remember, you don't have to look for the sign. You just have to look with love. All right, wherever you are, if it's safe to do so, go ahead and close your eyes. And if you're driving or multitasking, just let this wash over you and then come back to it later when you can fully relax and be present with this. So take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and exhale gently through your mouth. Good. Let's do that again. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and exhale gently through your mouth. Let your shoulders drop. Let your body settle. Now imagine you're standing in a softly lit room on a December evening. The glow from the Christmas trees casts a golden shimmer across the walls. Everything feels calm, quiet, and safe. In front of you is a small table with a single candle waiting to be lit. This candle represents your connection to the world of spirit. Go ahead and light the candle in your mind's eye. See the flame grow and dance gently. Feel its warmth against your skin. Now, as you watch the light flicker, think of someone you love in spirit. The first person who comes to your mind is perfect. Picture their smile, remember their energy, and as you hold them in your heart, quietly ask, show me a symbol this season that lets me know you're near. Don't overthink it. Let the first thing that floats into your awareness appear. Might be a song lyric, color, an ornament, an animal, a smell, a phrase, a number, whatever it is, trust it. Take a slow breath and imagine that symbol gently glowing in the light of the candle. That glow is the bridge between worlds. Spirit meeting you through something tangible and familiar. Now say silently, I see you. Thank you for finding me. Let gratitude settle in your chest. You might feel a warmth there. That's connection. Take one last breath, and when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. What you just did is how we build confidence with spirit. You didn't force anything, you just simply invited. And that's where the magic lives, in the invitation, not the effort. One of the biggest lessons Spirit teaches us during the holidays is that presence isn't about proximity, it's about awareness. You might not always see, hear, or feel them in obvious ways, but they're interwoven with your moments. The laughter, the suddenly echoes, the ornament that catches the light just right, and the candle that burns a little longer than usual. Spirit doesn't perform for proof, they blend with love. And love, as you know, shows up in the smallest details, right? That's what I adore about signs and symbols. They don't demand attention, they invite it. So this week, move through your days with curiosity. And if you notice something that feels meaningful, pause and ask yourself, if this were a message, what would it be saying? You don't have to get it perfect. You just have to be open. You're learning to read a language you already know, the language of energy, emotion, and memory. And here's the thing I love reminding my students and listeners of. You don't need a reading to feel connection. You just need a moment of recognition. Your spirit too, which means you have the capacity to feel, to notice, to communicate. The veil isn't a wall, it's a relationship. If this episode brought you a sense of calm or reminded you that your departed loved ones are closer than you think, I'd love to invite you to join me for something really special this December. On December 6th at 11 a.m. Pacific Daylight Time, I will be hosting Christmas Connection, a guided holiday remembrance journey. It's a live 60-minute online gathering. It's not a class, it's not a reading, but a sacred space to reconnect with the people you love in the spirit world. Through guided imagery and mindfulness, I'll lead you into the same reflective energy we touched today, where grief softens, love expands, and peace has room to breathe. You don't have to be a medium. You don't need experience. You just need an open heart, a quiet space, and maybe your favorite cup of tea. Whether your loss is recent or decades old, this hour is about remembering and feeling that presence again in a way that soothes the soul. There's also going to be a relaxed Q&A at the end where we can talk about your experiences, your symbols, and how Spirit's been showing up for you this season. You can find the link in the show notes or on my website. I would love to have you come join us. Let's spend an hour together and bring heaven home together. As you move through the next few weeks, I hope you carry this reminder with you. Spirit does not miss the holidays. They still show up, just differently. The ornaments, the songs, the laughter, even the stillness, those are spaces that they fill, and you don't have to try so hard to reach them. You just have to keep your heart open enough to notice when they reach you. So when a candle flickers, when a favorite song plays out of nowhere, when you feel that quiet nudge in your chest, just pause and smile and whisper, say, I see you. Because that moment is love remembering itself. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If this episode brought you peace, share it with someone who could use a reminder that their connection with those in the world of spirit, it hasn't ended. It just simply changes form. You're not behind, you're becoming, and your departed loved ones, they're right here, celebrating with you in their own beautiful way. Merry Christmas, my friend, and I'll see you inside a Christmas Connection, a guided holiday remembrance. The Connected Spirit isn't just a podcast, it's a remembering of who we are, a remembering of our connection to spirit, and a remembering that we are never walking this path alone. Mediumship isn't just about speaking with spirits. It's about deepening the connection to our own spirit, to one another, and to the energy that moves through everything. So as you leave this space, ask yourself, what part of this conversation stirred something within you? What connection is spirit inviting you to strengthen? If this episode spoke to you, please share it, leave a review, and connect with me on Instagram at Medium Courtney Dawson, or visit my website at mediumcourtneydawson.com. Your presence in this community matters, because connection isn't just about what we seek, it's what we are. Until next time, trust your spirit, trust the unseen world, and trust that you are always, always connected.